And we're coming to you live from the Built Ford Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And wherever you're on the free Odyssey app. Good Thursday morning. Another New York sports team season comes to an end last night. The New York Yankees eliminated by the Toronto Blue Jays in 4 games in the ALDS. And I was... Eddie's in there. He's got the long sleeve YE Day shirt on. I know Boomer, even though you heard the oh yeah, is not celebrating this morning because this was, to me at least, a shocker losing last night's game. If they had went back up to Toronto and lost, okay, I could understand that a little more. But losing last night with everything set up was extremely surprising to me, and it was extremely disappointing in the way that it happened, too, where here are the Blue Jays, and they're just pecking away, getting hits and looking like the better team. And some of the issues come up with the Yankees not being able to get the big hit, and then bad defense in a big situation. Jazz Chisholm's error at second base will now be that thing that we talk about throughout the offseason. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Jim. I'm doing all right. And, it's interesting. When you say you are the best team in baseball, you got to play like the best team in baseball. And individually, you have to play like the best player in baseball at your respective position. And it came back and bit Jazz last night. And, it's unfortunate when you think about what happened last night and how Toronto went about this. And it was interesting coming in. You're listening to Jerry this morning talking about how Craig Hart once upon a time on this radio show said they should just have 9 pitchers every game. Just go out there with 9 pitchers. You don't even need starters anymore.
Yeah.
And basically that's what we saw from Toronto last night, who used 8 pitchers. And it was amazing to me. It always felt like John Schneider's one step ahead. Like there was a big at bat. It was a lefty on lefty. I don't know how many lefty-on-lefty scenarios there were last night, but I don't know. To me, it felt like every time they needed something, it was a lefty-on-lefty matchup that the Yankees ended up losing. And, this is not about Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge played great this postseason. He is the unquestioned leader. He's one of the best players in Major League Baseball. He is, in my estimation, the best player that the Yankees have had in 20 years, if you really think about it, and he batted 500 in this playoffs. And they weren't all home runs, of course, and everybody's still talking about that signature moment, but we were talking about the signature moment, saying that moment's will stand the test of time for sure, but it will end if the Yankees lose last night. And here we are; they have to pick up the pieces. And when you evaluate this team, the one thing I will say, assuming that Clark Schmidt and Garrett Cole both are healthy and both are back next year, I would take Schlittler's arm right now and put it in ice. Don't let him do anything.
Yeah.
Make sure that he is healthy next year, and he is a big part of what I would say is resurgent starting pitching list. But for me, it really came down to a couple things. The starting pitching in this series for the Yankees was just horrendous, except for Schlittler last night, who was gutsy last night. He could have collapsed in that first inning, and he didn't.
No, I mean, he was very good. He gave the Yankees what they needed against a really tough lineup. It was just another instance where the Yankees lineup and offense comes up short in the biggest of games, and it's happened so many times. And yes, it does come back to the criticisms that people have said about the construction of the team when they're not hitting home runs or not winning as many games. They live and die on that. Smoltz said it last night about how you have a death by 1,000 paper cuts with the Blue Jays lineup, and you're having it's like a fighter is what he said. It's like a fighter who's jabbing you the entire time, and the Yankees are looking for the knockout blow. So it's a really tough franchise to evaluate because depending on how you look at it, you're right both ways. That they're always successful. They're always making the playoffs. Teams don't do that with the level of consistency in professional sports like the New York Yankees do, but they're always getting beat by a better team in the playoffs. They're not always the best team that is underachieving. They're never a team that is, beating teams that are better than them and somehow being the little engine that could. They're a team that's very good, but always gets beat by a team that's better than they are. So how do you get to be as good as them because they haven't figured that out. And unfortunately, 3 of those teams, one, the Houston Astros is a big thorn in their side and a big rival, has done it to them a bunch of times. The Boston Red Sox, their biggest rival, even though they beat them this year, did it to them twice. And now you got another team in the AL East that was better than they were this year, and the Toronto Blue Jays doing it. So they've stayed on a level plane, and some of these other teams have gone down. Like the Blue Jays were in last place last year. But the Yankees just stay on the same plane, and then everybody else is going up and down around them, and they're never getting the job done. So how do you fix that is a question that's harder than I think any other question on how to fix a team in New York sports.
Well, you would have to go position by position. You'd have to decide whether or not there's a better player that can play that position that would be somewhat of an offensive improvement, because I think that's probably what you're talking about. Because watching a guy, when you watch a guy like Ernie Clement, like who's Ernie Clement?
He was a Yankee fan growing up, is what he was.
That's exactly right. And all he did was kill the Yankees. Guerrero Jr., Vlad Guerrero Jr., awesome. Just an awesome player, set the tone right out of the gate in game 1 and never stopped. And he was a guy that, last night, it was great watching, Cam go after him and not, back off of him, and actually pitched him reasonably well.
Yeah.
And kept them in the yard. But I don't know. It's just there's a lot of things about this Yankee team to like, and then there's a lot of question marks because obviously for the Yankees, it's not about getting to the playoffs. It's about winning the World Series. How many times have we heard that? It's over and over and over again. And Yankee fans, I'm sure, are miserable this morning. I would be too. But where are the improvements coming? So I would think that their starting pitching is going to be very good next year. I would think that they're going to try to hold on to a couple of these couple of these top end relievers. That should be good. Then it comes down to, okay, what are we going to do with Anthony Volpe, and is he going to be here next year? Have we seen enough? His strikeout rate was alarming in these playoffs. And I'm the biggest Anthony Volpe fan there is because he's not making any money. He's a young kid. He grew up a Yankee fan. And he made some unbelievable defensive plays throughout the playoffs. But it seems like it was a black hole when it came to his spot in the lineup. There was one moment he had against the Red Sox, and then after that, nothing. I mean, nothing.
Yeah, not even close. He was just striking out consistently. He was a 0. And that's going to be an interesting one. It really is. The Yankees have had a history of holding on to these guys and giving them every opportunity. And I've thought the guys were going to be gone years before they ended up getting rid of them. For example, Aaron Hicks. Another example, Gary Sanchez. They'd hold on to these guys, even bringing Joey Gallo back for a second year. So if the Yankees are going to operate in the same way, then I would say that Volpe's going to stay here. But I don't think they can operate in the same way.
I just need to know what the alternative is, or who the alternative is. We could sit here and say, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy. But who are you replacing him with? That's really the question. And, this is the most expensive team in the American League. And unfortunately, they got beat by a group of relievers last night. I don't know, collectively, are they making as much money as, one of the superstars in the Yankees? Probably not even a third of that. Yeah. And they pitched their asses off, and they basically did everything that John Schneider could have asked them to do, and then more. They were amazing last night. Just one after the next. They all came in.
Yeah, and that is a sign of a really good team because they were huge underdogs. They had the backstop of going back to Toronto, and they still had the killer instinct to go out and win that game last night because they knew that Game 5 elimination game, sort of like a Game 7, anything could happen. So that to me was really impressive by the Blue Jays. Now, I don't know if you saw or heard what A-Rod said after the game, and it's funny though because he said nothing like this about the Yankees prior to them losing. So it's kind of hard. He just brings the hammer down after they lose. But he said, honestly, from the entire organization, Aaron Boone is the guy I would circle that is the least to be blamed. He's got a lot of talent, but for me personally, one of the worst constructions of a roster I've ever seen.
Well, that's just taking a shot at Brian Cashman for whatever reason.
You have 3 left-handed catchers. You have 5 DHs. You have a first baseman in and out. It's just a very difficult hand for Boone. I mean, that is one of the worst roster constructions he's ever seen on national TV, talking about a team he played for.
The point being is that when you have Ben Rice playing first base over there, it looks wonky.
I understand what he means, but I mean, that's like super over the top. Like, it can't be one of the worst roster constructions you've ever seen when teams like the Colorado Rockies and, the Pittsburgh Pirates and whoever else, the White Sox exist. But yes, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And listen, I'm not saying baseball managers don't, like, in rare instances, do they really make a huge difference? In very rare instances.
It's really what it comes down to is like when they take the pitcher out. That's really what it comes down to.
Right. I mean that's it. I mean, the lineup.
Or when they insert a pinch hitter, yes.
I mean, that's it. And then, because there's no, like, inspiring these guys. Like, it very rarely happens. I mean, Bruce Bochy's known as one of the best managers ever. I mean, he's just an older guy, sort of soft-spoken, just hangs around. I mean, is he...
Oh, like Joe Torre.
Yeah, right. So,
before Joe Torre ended up getting the best players that the Yankees have ever had, in the last 30 years in the 90s.
Right, like Terry Francona's a guy who seems to make a difference wherever he goes. But, most of these guys, they don't.
Listen, I don't. This is not an Aaron Boone bash session.
No, I don't think it should be.
And it should be a Brian Cashman bash session either, because, A-Rod could say that about the way it looks, but I will say that when you look at the trade deadline and what Brian Cashman did, you got to say he did the right thing. He added to this team. He solidified the defense for sure. The real interesting one for me, honestly. I know the Volpe thing is going to be a question out there because he's going to have to do something this offseason to figure out maybe he needs glasses or something. I don't know. I mean, he was missing pitches and swinging at pitches that were so far out of the strike zone, it was ridiculous. But what are they going to do with Jazz Chisholm? Do they keep him or no?
Yeah, that's a really tough question, and I'll give you both sides before I give you an answer, because I really liked what he brought to the Yankees as far as an edge and a different type of personality and all these things that I thought that the Yankees were lacking. And he had a really, really good offensive season. I mean, really good. But then on the other hand, he's the only guy that's popping off, is saying all these things about we're the best team in baseball, we're going to the World Series. He had a negative.
We're going to catch the Toronto Blue Jays, and we're going to win the division.
Right, win the division. All these things that don't pan out, and then he's winning when he's in the biggest situation in the game defensively. He can't turn a double play that honestly could have changed the entire series.
It changed the entire game. I mean, I'm not saying that's an easy play. That's not an easy play. That ball was hit really hard.
I know it was hit hard, but still, man, you could see that it's the classic, taking your eye off the ball thing, and he's looking at second base, whatever it is, like a wide receiver who's trying to run before he catches the ball. I mean, that's a play that's got to be made. I mean, this is the playoffs, and you are a guy who said you're the best team in baseball. You make a play like that.
And it's amazing how many times errors in this particular series led to more runs.
Yeah, so there's all of that stuff. And then also the last game. I mean, they're lucky they came back in that last game because he's sitting there lollygagging it as guys are running around scoring, and then he's caught yawning after that. So, I mean,
when you lose, it looks different. It feels different.
Yeah.
As opposed to when you win, it camouflages so many other things, which winning is the deodorant of champions. How many times have I told you that?
Yes, of course. And I would bring them back. I would. I just need the Yankees to look more like a team that if they're not hitting a home run and Aaron Judge isn't going off, and by the way, as great as Aaron Judge was, Vlad Guerrero was better. He was better. As good as Aaron Judge was, Guerrero's numbers in this series were better. He had 2 more home runs. He had a higher OPS. He had a higher batting average. He had more RBIs. It's crazy.
Well, both of them played
they were, but I mean, it's like that's how good Vlad Guerrero was in this situation. Just to prove that point, I'm not knocking Judge.
And Aaron played a very good right field.
Yeah, he was great.
Bellinger makes a great play last night. I mean, Volpe made another great play. I mean, the defensive part of it basically comes down to that one error.
I really do think, and I understand he's been great in the postseason for the Yankees, but I mean, Giancarlo Stanton is a guy that's he clogs things up most of the time. Like, you want to talk about all or nothing. The guy can't run. He can't run. So when you're on the bases,
well, he did run to second base when he realized that the ball didn't go out against the Red Sox.
Right. Okay, that's one instance.
He showed you he could actually run,
but he doesn't for 98% of the season, and in the playoffs, maybe got on his horse a little bit. But I don't know what you do with a guy that age who's making that much money, but he'll probably be back. I mean, they're not going to change a lot because they never change a lot. But I don't.
Well, they can't. I mean, these contracts, hamstring them into
some of them, yeah.
And that Giancarlo Stanton and by the way, Ben Rice, came out and blossomed this year, and in the playoffs, I think he was overmatched a few times.
Yeah, and
he kept chasing that. I guess you want to call it a splitter, you want to call it a slider, whatever you want to call it. Kept chasing that thing, and last night they took him out of the lineup. I think just to give him a breather.
Yeah, and I wonder what the conversations are over at Yankee Stadium with the powers that be, because I always reference back in 2022 when they got swept by the Astros and looked nowhere near like a championship team. They always kept saying, we went to the LCS. You would have thought we didn't make the playoffs. Well, I mean, you got swept by a team that always beat your ass. It didn't look very good. This is a situation here, you lose in 4, and it wasn't close. I mean, those first 2 games, they killed them.
Well, let's face it, they could beat the Toronto Blue Jays up in Toronto this year at all.
Right.
I mean, I think they won 1 out of 8 games up there.
Exactly. So, I mean, did they see it? Because if I were one of these, if I were Brian Cashman or one of his underlings, I would say exactly what I said to open the show. Say, we're a really good team, but we are always getting beat by better teams. We never overachieve, and we never underachieve. We just get beat by teams that are better than us every single year. How do we beat those teams, and why aren't we doing it? Are they saying that? Or are they saying, hey, man, another successful year? I mean, we could have won the division. We lost the division on a tiebreaker. We beat the Red Sox. We got 5 postseason games in our building, which is great. Ownership loves that. It could have been more. But, man, I tell you, hat tip to the Blue Jays, and let's go get them again next year. Like, what are they thinking there? Because I'm not so sure that they're not satisfied with this.
Then nobody's satisfied.
Okay. Well, things don't seem to change very much.
You and I know a number of the executives. We know they're not satisfied. But the other thing, too, is that I don't think that they're going to make radical changes. Radical changes would be a new GM and
I don't think so.
And a new
either.
manager. So those radical changes that may be required to take that next step are not going to happen.
Right. So are we just going to be sitting here again in a year saying the same thing? Great season, good job, fans are into it, you're selling out games, but here's another team in the American League that comes in, looks at your flaws, exposes them, and beats you. Because that's the same pattern.
I mean, their starting pitching was horrendous.
Well, okay.
Except for Schlittler last night.
Okay.
You look at Rodon, you look at Max Fried, look, both of those guys had great regular seasons. They had good outings against the Red Sox, and then all of a sudden imploded against this Toronto team.
Yeah,
that's the margin of victory and losing.
But I could also say that this Blue Jays offense is just better. They were more prepared. They exposed the issues that the Yankees pitching had. They play better at home.
Vlad Guerrero led the charge. Man.
Yeah,
he led the charge.
You could say that too. I mean, is the Blue Jay fans not sitting around going, "Man, thank God the Yankees pitching was terrible." They're saying our offense we're ass kickers.
But if you're paying guys the money that they're paying guys to be starting pitching.
Yes.
Not to be able to get out of 2 innings.
You can't choke and die on the mound.
That's exactly right.
Of course.
And but again, is it because the pitchers were terrible, or is it because, Toronto was great, hitting and prepared and whatever else you want to say about their success rate? I mean, from the loser's side, you say it's the pitchers. From the winner's side, you say it's the hitting.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean.
And last night it was the lack of hitting and the lack of big-time hits for the Yankees.
Well, I saw, Max Fried have a great second half. He pitched very well against the Red Sox and then got killed by these guys. Cam Schlittler had a really, really good season once he jumped in, had an all-time performance, pitched great last night, but he couldn't even get out of the second inning up in Toronto against these guys. So, I mean, I think it's a lot to do with them, to be honest with you. They're just better. All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. Quick break.